Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Speakers Gallery. Our guest today is a career administrator, an expert in security, an expert in peace and reconciliation, Abdi Noor Mohammed. Abdi Noor Mohammed was a DC in Kerugoya. He was also a DC in Kieni. He has a chain of qualifications. Among those qualifications is a master's in peace and reconciliation from Coventry University in the UK. He also has a master's in international security, specialist in counterinsurgency from Leicester University. Welcome, Mr. Abdi Noor Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is the state of security or the state of insecurity in the region today, with emphasis on what you call transboundary issues?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to start maybe with Kenya.
Yes.
I think in this country today, we had, in 2017,
Yes.
we had a very unstable general election.
Yes.
But after the BBI,
Yes.
when the Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga shook hands.
After the handshake.
Yes.
Yes.
Shook hands.
Yes.
The country became stable.
Yes.
And I think for the short term only.
Yes.
Because that initiative is the only initiative I have had
Yes.
or I have read about
Yes.
whose resolutions
Yes.
were known in advance.
Yes.
For example, the BBI, there was a team to go and bring calm in the country and also collect the views of the public. Unfortunately, the BBI's, the views which will be collected in advance were already known by some quarters. Because we have seen some people calling for the creation of a prime minister, the impeachment of maybe even the deputy president. There was also one thing. And that's why, personally, I will call it a banal, boring initiative.
A banal,
Boring initiative. Because
Yes.
we sent out some team to go and collect views from the public.
And the views are already predetermined.
They were already predetermined. Therefore, I call it banal. You know, it's boring.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a banal, boring initiative.
But it has brought some kind of a peace in the interim.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yes, in the interim.
Yes, after the contested elections and what do you call all that,
Yes,
and the
yes.
boycotted elections, at least we're able to try and salvage the economy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But an initiative, we spend taxpayers' money,
Yes.
whose outcome is pre-known.
Yes.
And we have the Ndungu Commission report.
Yes.
We have one of the best TJRC reports in the world.
Yes.
The one in
Yes. Yes.
the last
yes.
one.
Yes.
The reports are there, about 3,000 pages.
Not implemented.
Nothing implemented.
Yes.
And you have now the BBI.
Yes.
It's a waste of taxpayers' money.
Yes.
Yes. But regionally, I would say Kenya, we're not doing so well. We have the Kenya-Somali maritime dispute,
Yes.
which is now in the ICJ, International Court of Justice. We have Al-Shabaab insurgents, which are bringing havoc
Yes.
to Mandera
Yes.
and Wajir counties,
Yes.
and even Garissa County.
In the periphery.
In the periphery, yes,
Yes, yes.
in the periphery.
At least in the center, we have had a bit of a
Yes, yes,
a bit of a peace for a while now.
yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Al-Shabaab insurgency in Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa, insofar as physical security is concerned,
Yes.
I would say the Kenya government has subcontracted
Yes.
security.
Yes.
Because in a state is a state because of the monopoly of violence,
Firepower.
firepower. Although firepower is not a remedy to insurgencies, counter-insurgencies, in northern Kenya, we have subcontracted that to people called Kenya Police Reserve, or sorry, it's called National Police Reserve.
KPR.
Of late, yes, NPR.
NPR.
Yes,
Home guards, basically.
home guards.
Yes.
They used to be called home guards.
Yeah, from the colonial time
Yes.
and subsequent years.
Right, Mheshimiwa. Then they're causing havoc in Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa. Nothing much has been done in addressing the root cause of that problem. We have the maritime dispute, I said, which is in the International Court of Justice. I assume that the court will deliver some judgment sometime. And some quarters in Kenya have been advocating for a peaceful resolution out of court. That's a paradox as far as I am concerned. Because in Kenya's 2013 general election, the government, the President Uhuru Kenyatta, when Raila disputed the elections, called Raila Odinga and told him, look, can you go to court? Excellent. 2017, Raila went to court. The elections were nullified. Therefore, courts are a very good avenue for conflict resolution.
For settling disputes.
Yes. Then, but now, objecting to the ICJ, to me, is double standards. And then we have Uganda also, which is our good neighbor, and our trading partner, #1 of Kenya.
Trading partner.
Yes, a leading, #1 trading partner.
Leading trading partner, yes.
Yes, yes. I think Uganda is a bit stable, more stable than us, so far as security is concerned.
Yes.
But my only worry is the discovery of oil.
In Uganda.
In Uganda. That can lead to chaos and conflict and violence. But in peace building, in conflict resolution, we have something called conflict sensitivity development. That is, that any development which comes must be conflict sensitive, because we can have a competition over resources, which can lead to violence. The same thing in Kenya. We have discovered oil in Turkana. If not checked, that can lead to chaos and violence.
Resource cost, what's called resource cost.
Yeah, resource cost, yes. Tanzania is a very peaceful country. But as a region today, a place we can applaud is the coming into the political space by one unique man, Abiy Ahmed.
Of Ethiopia.
Of Ethiopia. I think Somalis, especially and Ethiopians, have been in conflict for about 400 years or more. And sometimes the conflict was so intractable that bringing these two communities together, or two nations together,
was difficult.
Was unthinkable. It's the same thing like, you know, there's a word called reconciliation. In Northern Ireland, the Protestants and the Catholic, you cannot go to Northern Ireland today and say the word reconciliation. You cannot talk of reconciliation. They have peace, but not reconciliation.
Yes.
It's called, reconciliation is a dirty word in Northern Ireland. Why? Because of the long interruptible conflict.
Yes.
And then we have reconciliation, also a dirty word in Kosovo, between the Kosovo and the Serbs.
Yes.
The conflict has been there for so many years.
Yes, yes.
Therefore, mentioning the word reconciliation in those communities is nearly impossible. I thought it was the same in Ethiopia and Somalia. That has changed, and changed quickly.
Drastically.
Drastically. Because of, I think, maybe wise leadership by Abiy Ahmed.
Yes. Yes.
Whether that's sustainable, I think very sustainable. Even if he leaves the political scene, he must have put some benchmarks to see that this reconciliation process is sustainable.
People have seen the benefits of having peace between the two countries.
Yes.
Not having conspiracies, not what do you call before the relationship between Somalia and Ethiopia was a zero-sum game.
Yes.
One had to win and the other one had to lose.
Yes.
But this one looks like a win-win.
Win-win. Yes. And as you said, Mheshimiwa, there's something called enemy image.
Yes.
When a community wants to fight another, or when a nation wants to fight another, images are created. Bad images. There was the same image in Ethiopia and Somalia. Today, that is diminishing. You
demonize the other side.
Yes, you demonize. You create enemy images.
To get the justification for you to say,
right,
it is sacred for you to go and fight and spill their blood.
Right. Give the dog a bad name.
And kill it.
And kill it. Today, that has changed. My only worry with Abiy Ahmed is he bringing Somalis so close at the expense of this country, which I love, my country, Kenya, because some pundits are very skeptical, because Abiy Ahmed and Somalia are becoming very, very close. But the Somalia-Kenyan gap is widening. Is Abiy's reconciliation is welcome, but it should not be at the expense of Kenya. Yes.
Why? Why should it be at the expense of Kenya? Why is there either or? Why is it that if Abiy has to be close to Kenya, then he must be far from Somalia? If he has to be close to Somalia, he has to be far from Kenya. Can't he bring them both close?
Yes. And you know very well.
He tried that because one time I remember we had Farmajo visit him in Addis Ababa, and then they flew together in the same plane and came and met Uhuru.
Yes.
Yes.
You're right. But I know there's an existence of a military pact
Yes.
between Kenya and Ethiopia. And I'm sure it was meant only to counter Somalia.
Yes.
Yes.
In the event.
Yes. To Abiy Ahmed, the Somali threat no longer exists.
Somali irredentism is dead.
Irredentism is dead.
Yes.
Therefore, he doesn't
See
see
the need.
for a military pact.
Yes.
Maybe an economic pact. He's thinking of an economic pact.
That brings all the countries together.
All the countries together. In Kenya, some of our politicians, especially from northern Kenya, are even agitating for war. Somalis, unfortunately, who think that by agitating for war with Somalia, the largest Kenyan community will view them as patriots. You see, it is cheap. It is very, very cheap and petty. Because Robert Ney, University of Harvard professor, international security, has written so much about soft power. You see, and he says that soft power is the way to go in international relations. The world of realism, where military force was being used, is long gone. Therefore, I think some of our politicians from northern Kenya should stick to their constituencies and leave international security for the specialists.
Regional security also.
Regional, yeah, yes. They should be sticking to the CDF, you know, community development funds and all this. Yeah.
What does that tell you? That to some extent the Somali from Northeastern Province sees himself as some kind of a second-class citizen who really has to shout very loud to show his love for the country, much louder than everybody else, for him to be accepted as a Kenyan? Or is that the reason? Or what is it?
I think so.
Yes.
Largely, I would call it inferiority complex.
Yes.
I don't need to beat the drums of war in Kenya to be seen as Kenyan.
As a Kenyan, yes.
I am Kenyan day, night.
Yes.
And this nationalism, there are two different things between nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism killed about 180 million in the last century, 20th century. You had the world wars and all this. Patriotism is telling your country the truth.
Yes.
However bitter it is.
Being honest with it.
Being honest. Yeah. But patriotism, I mean nationalism, is beating drums of war blindly. Yeah. Yes.
So there's a lot of soft power in here which we are not using.
Kenya, yes.
Kenya is not using that soft
Kenya,
power.
yes. Mheshimiwa, I always say one thing. For those Kenyans beating the drums of war, should watch the inauguration of Farmajo's presidency in Mogadishu. When President Uhuru Kenyatta was speaking, half of the time, parliamentarians in Somalia gave him a standing ovation.
Something that was never given to the Ethiopian Prime Minister.
Far, nothing. There was there was even no one clap.
Yes, for him.
Yes. Uhuru Kenyatta and Ismail Omar Gele are only two head of states who got a standing ovation.
Have we destroyed that goodwill? Or do we still have it? Can we still salvage it?
I think we can still salvage. Somalis in Somalia have a lot of regard for Kenya. And that's why Uhuru Kenyatta was given such a rousing welcome. And I always say that the two most prominent Somalis outside Africa, Ilhan Omar, who is a congresswoman in the United States of America, and Ahmed, the Minister for Immigration in Canada, were all here.
They passed through here.
They passed through here.
And they cannot forget that experience.
They cannot forget the childhood memories of this country. They love this country. Soft power.
Yes.
The other one, we have a Somali educated elite in this country who this country can use.
Very significant.
Very significant. To go and talk to the Somali state and to be honest. Resolving our disputes with Somalia by the use of our soft power. We have Somali businessmen, we have religious elders, We have elites who have gone to school and who have high standing in Somalia also. We can use this.
Who went through school in Kenya?
In Kenya. We can bring them back. We can bring this country together. Yeah. Not about shouting over the rooftops.
In your specialization, you're a specialist in counterinsurgency.
Yes.
And you told me your project was Al-Shabaab.
Yes.
And you were basically taken in with what you said was called population-centered strategies.
Yes.
For defeating these insurgents. Do we use that in Kenya now? Are we making advantage? Are we taking advantage of this kind of strategies where you have population-centered and the population becomes your partner in fighting insurgency?
Yes. In any counterinsurgency,
Yes.
winning the hearts and minds of the public
Yes.
is number one.
Yes.
Although research,
Yes.
empirical evidence points
Yes.
to us the fact that less than 7%
Yeah.
of insurgencies in the world
Yeah.
for the last 200 years
Yes.
have been won militarily.
93 of them could not be won militarily. And
Yes.
It's only 7 which was won.
Yes.
7%.
Yes. And furthermore, paradoxically, I will say,
Yes.
the word winning or defeat
Yes.
is relative.
It's relative also.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you win at the altar
Yeah.
of morality
Yes.
and legality?
Yes. Immorality and illegality.
Yes.
Yes.
Immorality. Yes.
Yes.
Or you can win by annihilating the public,
Yes, yes.
which is us winning.
Literally finishing everybody.
Everybody.
Genocide.
Yeah, genocide.
The same thing
Yeah.
what was done to the
Khmer Rouge.
Yeah, Khmer Rouge.
Yes.
Or to the tactics that were employed by Khmer Rouge
Yeah. Tamil
against,
Tigers
against the
and-
population.
Yes.
Tamil Tigers also.
Yeah.
The Sri Lankan government
Yes.
literally just used the massive
Annihilated.
firepower
Yes, yes.
and kill everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
The Kenya government, I think when we were going to Somalia in the first 6-7 months,
Yes.
fortunately, we have one of the highest trained
Yes.
military in Africa.
Best trained.
Best trained. And when we were going to Kismayo, or
Yes.
Jubaland,
Yes.
we saw our Kenyan army giving people medicine, treating them, and attending to them, and giving them
Chocolate
water.
to the children
Yes,
and sweets. Yeah.
and sweet and everything. We have a highly trained, capable army. But in counterinsurgency, it's not a military issue. It is mainly to do with the public. Why don't you bring people together?
Yeah.
For example, if you want to finish insurgency in Somalia, the UN monitoring group reports is awash with a lot of data. How injustices is pushing people to insurgencies.
Yeah.
Odoro Center, where I am the executive director now in Mogadishu,
Odoro Center, yes, I know, which is basically a think
a
tank.
think tank
Yes.
in the Horn of Africa, is having, we are delivering a paper on the general insurgency problem in Somalia on 10th of November next month, inshallah. We are of the view that the insurgency problem in Somalia can be finished without firing one bullet. And I'm sure it will be an interesting paper.
Yes.
Next month, Mheshimiwa, you are welcome.
Yes, yes.
It will be done in Mogadishu.
Yes.
Therefore, in Kenya, I have said that the soft power issue is something we have not yet utilized properly. Yes.
What is your take of the just concluded elections in Jubaland, in Kismayu, in which Kenya has had a serious stake in that, and people actually believe this is Kenya's man who was just imposed there, Ahmed Madobe,
Ahmed, yes.
who the Kenyans people all of us say that he has a lot of intractable interests in Kenya with the generals, the security guys, the center here. I mean, what do you say about that?
We are the only country that congratulated Ahmed Madobe's election,
Yes.
despite
Which we never need
the
to.
fact that the federal government of Somalia
Yes.
said that those
Disowned
elections
it.
are null and void.
Yes, yes, yes.
Having said that, the Somali federal government also, Ahmed Madobe, I think, was also put into a situation where, which we can call it damn if you do,
Yes.
damn
if you don't.
if you don't.
Yes.
If you have followed the instructions of the federal government,
Yes.
they would have maybe they would
Yes.
have done what they did in
Yes.
Baidoa.
Yes.
Impose somebody else,
Yeah.
jail Ahmed Mudobe,
Yeah.
and bring somebody else of the choice.
Yeah.
Damn if you do,
Damn if you don't. Yes.
But he elected himself, avoiding what happened in Baidoa. And I think the onus to me will be on the federal government. Is the father of all these regional presidents. Farmajo must bring back all these regional governments. He was elected. I think the only president in Somalia was elected from Melbourne to Minnesota.
And people celebrated across the world.
Yes.
Across the world. In
Yes.
his sleep, people also
We don't expect the same man
Yes.
to be seen to be interfering into the regional governments.
Yeah, but you see, when elections are not free and fair, the responsibility, the management of elections in Somalia is both the responsibility of the central government as well as the regional governments.
Yes.
Here is a regional president who told the tribal elders or the clan elders, bring me 3 names, I'll choose one out of them.
Right.
So he basically was the one who appointed all the members of parliament
Yes.
who were going to elect him again.
Yes.
There's no democracy that
Agreed.
can remotely be compared to that.
Agreed.
Anywhere in the world and still be called democracy.
Yeah, agreed. And I don't think whether there's any Somali clan.
And some of those people are people who have known Somalia or Jubaland only for sometimes less than 3 months.
Yeah.
Some of them were in the Lee police
Yeah, in Ethiopia.
in Ethiopia and served under Abdile, who had the worst human rights records.
Yeah.
And they ran away to run away from justice there. And now they're members of parliament here.
Yeah.
How do you,
Agreed,
how,
Mashuma.
how do you live with that?
Yeah, of course, yes. But I told you, Ahmed Mudobe has his own problems. But I told you,
Yeah.
we must see whether he was put into that precarious position
Yes.
because of what happened
Yes.
in
In Bedo.
Baidoa. He thought that
The same fate awaited him.
yes, and who knows?
Yes.
Maybe we'll be in a jail in Mogadishu if he would have acquisitive to
The
the
other
small
one
government.
is this, all federal systems in the world.
Yeah,
America is a federal system.
yeah. Kenya is a federal system.
Canada is a federal system. Many countries in the world are federal systems. Germany is a federal system.
Kenya is also a federal system,
You don't have a federal system anywhere in the world where the peripheral or the states share responsibility for foreign policy and international cooperation with the center. But Ahmed Mudobe insists on being allowed to participate in that. As a matter of fact, he insists on appointing the ambassadors. The quota of ambassadors from his area must be appointed by him.
I'm not aware.
Well,
but that may happen.
These are some of the things that are there as a big problem between him and
The presidency.
Farmajo. Yes. Yes.
We did a study
Yes.
on federalism in Somalia
Yes.
in 2015 and 2016.
Yes.
I was in charge of an NGO called the Berghoff Foundation.
Yes. Bego.
Berghoff Foundation is based in Berlin.
Yeah.
Federalism is the most misunderstood concept in Somalia.
Yeah.
And when we were collecting views,
And why do you even call them presidents? That's the problem. They should be called governors like we have them here now.
right? I agree. Yes. Federalism in Somalia is at a very young stage. It needs to be developed and researched on. There are about 29 countries in the world which are federal, and each is unique.
Baradisi,
Yeah.
hold on to your thoughts. We'll
Okay.
have a short commercial break and she'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Viewers, we shall have a short commercial break. Viewers, welcome back to another show of Speakers Gallery. For those who are joining us now, our guest is a security expert, a peace and reconciliation expert, and a former DC for a number of districts in the country, Mr. Abdi Nur Mohammed. Welcome back, Mr. Abdi Nur Mohammed.
Thank you.
I was asking you about the kind of issues we have right now in the country as far as insecurity itself is concerned.
Yes.
And you say that we have problems. We have not been able to use what you call population-centered
Counterinsurgency, yes.
counterinsurgency. You've also not been able to use the population, soft power, to resolve a lot of our problems.
Yes.
I want to take you to a completely different place now.
Yeah.
In Kenya, so many people have disappeared. People are getting killed every day by the security force, extrajudicially. Extrajudicially.
Yes.
They've never been brought to court. Information has it right now. If you want to get rid of your opponent, all you do is that you just pay off these people and they do the job for you.
Yes.
So counterinsurgency is no longer counterinsurgency. One, it is a way of extorting money from people because they will arrest this person and tell him you either pay or we kill you, or you disappear like the rest of them. The people who have disappeared for the last 7, 8 years, or somebody else pays.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to become the long-time effect of these things? Is this problem going to end here, or is it going to live with us for a very long time to come?
Yeah.
Because you look at a parallel to what happened in Argentina many, many years back.
Yeah.
They disappeared. Yeah. And that thing is still haunting those people who were in the system.
Yes.
You remember Pinochet?
Yes.
I don't know if he's alive or he died.
Yes.
Has he died?
I don't think he's alive, yeah.
Yeah, but he had issues.
Yeah.
Is this going to haunt us for a long time to come in the future?
Yes. There is Dr. David Kilcullen,
Yes.
an Australian colonel
Yes.
and a PhD holder,
Yes.
has done a lot of research
Yes.
in areas of counterinsurgency and
Yes.
insurgency.
Yes.
There's something he calls the accidental guerrilla syndrome.
Accidental gorilla syndrome.
Accidental guerrilla syndrome.
Yes.
There are no born guerrillas,
Yeah.
but governments create.
Yeah.
For example,
Governments create.
yes.
Uh-huh.
For example, a young man in Mandela, 20 years of age, is innocently killed. Extrajudicial killing, maybe by state.
Yes.
The likelihood of his siblings
Yes.
crossing over to Al-Shabaab
Yes.
to go on revenge
Yes.
is very, very high.
Yes.
Therefore, you have created a guerrilla yourself. And that's why the
Yes.
theory of accidental
Guerrilla
guerrilla syndrome
Yes.
exists. I think from statistics, 2015, 2016, 2017, we had high number of extrajudicial killings reported
Yes,
from Mama
yes,
Kenya.
yes.
And that seems to be waning now, I think,
Yes.
for the time being.
It's getting less.
It's getting less.
Yes.
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 And I
But
think
it's still there.
It's still there, yes,
Yes.
yes. But I think it's reducing, and it should reduce. And those behind it should be brought to book. Yeah, because we are creating guerrillas ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Part of that, we have a problem in Somalia right now because of the maritime disputes.
Yes.
There are those Kenyans who are asking, who actually owns those blocks? Are they blocks that belong to the Kenya government? Or these are blocks that belong to individuals who are Kenyans?
Yeah. Oil blocks.
The
Yes.
same way the mystery shrouds also surrounds and shrouds the Turkana oil.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to know exactly what kind of a contract was there
Yeah.
and who benefits what. Who owns those blocks? Or rather, the rumor that these blocks were actually auctioned in 2012 by Kenya, by Kenyans, what is the facts?
Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of there's a lot of information in the
Yes.
airwaves
Yes.
about who owns these blocks.
Yes.
And sometimes I think, or even ask myself,
Yes.
whether
Yes.
we are going to court and spending billions
Yes. To protect the individual interest.
to protect individual interest.
Yes.
These individuals
Yes.
will come out,
Yes.
bear the cost,
Yes.
also the legal cost,
Yes.
and share the legal cost of this,
Yes.
because they have minted millions
Yes.
of dollars or even billions
Yes.
from Statoil and the ilk.
And any.
Yeah, and any.
Yes.
You see, therefore, and these individuals are just Kenyans retiring at their homes. You see, and they are well known. The information is there in public.
Yeah.
The same way like the Turkana block, it's alleged
Somebody sold it.
somebody sold it, serving in the Senate very well today, you know, sitting pretty well. Yeah. Therefore, I think the people should not take Kenyans for a ride. They should tell us the information about who owns this block.
And the oil that comes out of Turkana, where does that money go?
Nobody.
Do we only get certain limited taxation out of it, or who owns it?
For the time being, I will say,
Production
the-
cost is
yeah,
still being paid for.
but yes,
Of
yes,
Total oil.
yes.
But then the share that remains for Kenya, where does it go?
resource sharing, yeah, it is a big issue. And I think we are the only few countries in the world that exports what we import. You know, we are exporting oil and importing. It's a paradox.
200
we should have thought about this thing
barrels.
earlier. I think we should have our refineries in place, then prospect for oil. But instead of taking this oil now to thousands of kilometers away and bringing back
Finished products.
finished products, it's a problem. We should have processed our oil here, so that we can at least it can contribute to the economy. Yeah, but the whole oil industry in Kenya, same way the blocks now, Kenya and Somalia are in dispute, is shrouded in misery. Who owns these blocks? Who sold them to South Oil and any? That information must come out very soon. Yeah, the public goes silent.
The maritime dispute, we spent a lot of money. We've spent over 3 billion Kenyan shillings.
Yes,
We went into pockets of people.
yes, we should not have spent a coin on the maritime dispute, as far as I think. Somalis went to court. It's their right to go to court. But Kenyans and Somalia, Kenya and Somalia are tied at the hip. With proper advice to the foreign ministry of this country, we should have resolved that thing amicably in a win-win situation.
Without going to court.
Yes, without going to court.
But you know, Somalis bent backwards over to accommodate. You saw that report on the Standard.
No.
One of the papers, daily papers, which said that Somalis were pushing for that, Kenyans rubbished it, didn't care about it. Rubbished in the sense that they never attended.
Yes, they never attended the meetings.
Yes.
Yes, it's an issue. They never attended.
They never attended the meetings.
Yes.
So they left the Somalis with no option
Yes.
but to go to court.
Yeah. Laxity and bad response from our Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Complacency.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I have told you, I was just quoting Professor Robert Ney, Joseph Ney, soft power. This country, Farah, has someone like you, well respected across the Somali divide. We have other Somalis who are born in Kenya, doing business in Kenya, Bilo Kero, et al.
One person who comes to mind straight away, yes.
Yes, et al. We can use that power to go and talk to this.
To use the ones the ones who have always been being rigged by the system into power. They've always been with every system. They were the colonial system, at least the families. They were with the Kenyatta system. They were with Moi system, very, very diligently and very, loyal. And then they came to the Kibaki system. Now they're in the Huru system. And if Ruto comes tomorrow, they'll be in the Ruto system. If the devil comes tomorrow, they'll still work with the devil.
I saw that you saying on TV.
Yes, yes.
That,
and you see, with such people, they will only tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, let me put it differently.
Yes.
I'm not a politician. You are a very good one.
Yes.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs prefers those who like the status quo ante.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
The people who are not innovative enough.
Yes, yes.
Those who you say jump and they jump, they ask how high.
Yes.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of this country has a duty to bring its soft power and mass its soft power.
Yes,
bring it together.
Yes.
And use it. Because soft power is the ability to co-opt, not the ability to coerce. And furthermore, some people are calling for war, even on the Somali side. If you see, it's easy to know what Somalis think, because, as they have been called by so many commentators, they are a community of poets. If you want to know what the Somali in Wajir is thinking, you just need to what the local poets, what they will say.
Literally, you listen to the poetry.
Yes, listen to poetry. If I listen to Somali poetry today about the maritime dispute, they also, when we say we will go, our navy will go to Somalia, they're also calling for war. It doesn't benefit anybody, is that? Therefore, what I think we can do is we can stop spending money on this dispute. The Minister of Foreign Affairs should call the Somali elites
from Kenya.
From Kenya, yes, from Kenya, yes.
And ask for ideas. Ideas and advice.
Advice, yeah. And because I told you, patriotism is telling your country the truth. Patriotism is not about clubbing when your country is wrong.
Nationalism is different.
Nationalism is different. But if you go the nationalism way, I told you it has killed 180 million in the last century.
We will lose.
Yes.
But of course, there are those who say Somalia is a failed state. They don't have a structured military might that is measurable to Kenya or that can be compared with Kenya. So we'll move in there and we'll just, we'll just take what we want.
It may not be as easy as that, because history reminds us that Operation Restore Hope ended
the most powerful country in the world.
It ended badly.
They still had to cut line and run.
Yes.
They ran, literally ran.
Yes. Some people have nothing to lose.
Yes. Somalis have nothing to lose.
Maybe some have nothing to lose. And I would say, why resort to war when we have
the possibility
500,000 Somalis in a refugee camp in Dadaab?
Yes.
I told you the two most senior politicians in the Somali community outside Africa, Ilhan Omar and Ahmed, the Minister for Immigration.
They went through the
work here. Yes. The other one, the world leading marathoner, one of the world leading marathoner.
Yes.
Mo Farah.
Yes.
Has been training here for the last 10 years.
Yes.
You see, Somalis are proud of this country. And then
they love Kenya and Kenyans.
I love Kenya. I used to work in Mogadishu in 2015 and 2016 as the head of an NGO in Somalia. We have about 50 to 60,000 Kenyans working in the NGO sector.
Yes.
And whenever a meeting of head of NGOs in Somalia is called for in Mogadishu,
yes.
Chances are that 90% of those heading those NGOs are Kenyans.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe some Kenyans don't know that in Mogadishu airport, when you land at the Mogadishu airport and you go to the VIP section, the first person that greets you
is a Kenyan.
Is the bartender at the coffee shop.
Yes, who's a Kenyan?
Comes from Dika.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ngugi or somebody. You see. Therefore, we have a lot in common. I told you we are tied at the hip. Therefore, we have a lot of soft power. We should not resort to, we should not go to ICJ. We can convince Somalis if we are sincere and honest. And they're ready.
What do you think now? You think there's a way anybody can talk to them to withdraw the matter from court? You think that's going to be, or rather, is it too late?
I don't think it's too late.
For withdrawal from the court?
No. I don't believe it's too late. Provided the Kenyan government, I told you, calls a group of eminent Kenyans and listen to the advice. Not to the advice of those who want to preserve the status quo ante. Yeah.
Those who benefit from conflicts.
Yes.
I want to ask you one thing. What are the prospects for a lasting peace for Somalia, in your own opinion?
In?
Lasting peace.
Yes.
For Somalia. What are the prospects today?
Wow.
A lot better, much better, no better than it was 5 years ago. What are the prospects for lasting peace in Somalia? What are the prospects for Al-Shabaab being defeated in Somalia now?
I told you, the word defeat is relative in insurgencies or counter-insurgencies. But President Farmajo and Khaire were elected. Farmajo was elected largely by the parliamentarians, yes. But they were coerced to elect by the Somali public. You remember?
Somali masses.
The Somali mass. During his premiership, Farmajo had created an image that he is a patriot. And that's why he was elected en masse by the Somali parliamentarians. Today, Al-Shabaab insurgency hasn't waned or hasn't reduced. There are still attacks in Somalia. But Farmajo still...
He's getting more popular.
I will not say more popular, but still has some public appeal because of maybe his rhetoric and the way he speaks. And Somalis like, people who speak orators. And I think also most Somalis believe
he's honest.
He is not so much crime-based.
And not corrupt.
Yes. We have seen the Somali government buying an embassy with taxpayers' money.
They say he's patriotic. This is the feeling you get.
Yes.
That they feel that these two, the duo,
yes,
are much more patriotic than the ones who were there before because they never went on to grabbing spree or these are the kind of things that, of course, they are the other side also.
I haven't done so much a comparison, but I will say the duo
Yes.
at least
Yes.
were elected by, Farmajo especially,
Yes.
was elected by the Somalis from Minnesota
Yes.
to Melbourne in America.
All over the world.
All over the world.
Yes.
Appeal.
Yes.
Today, anyway, on in security, one great thing they have done is that the Somali military, the documentation and all this, security sector reform is progressing well.
Very well.
Progressing well.
Yes, yes. They removed all those ghost soldiers.
Ghost soldiers,
Yes.
yes. But
And the training for them.
since they came to power,
Yes.
the attacks of Al-Shabaab have increased. It's a paradox sometimes, yeah. You have done a lot of security sector reform on this side, but the attacks have not stopped. The attacks are still there. And the main reason is we need counterinsurgency. It needs a holistic approach.
Yes.
It's not only, it doesn't depend only on Farmajo and Khaire.
It depends on the community.
Yes. And I always say
And they're
this.
training a lot of their commanders right now in
Yes.
all these sectors, so are
Yeah.
doing very well.
What's
What's the role of Turkey, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Emirates, in your opinion?
I have said this severally, and I will repeat it here. Saudi Arabia and the Emirates are a threat to regional security. They have interfered
In the Horn of Africa.
in the Horn of Africa. They interfere. They humiliate Somali leaders. But Somalis are proud of the Turkey contribution. We can't hide. Farah, today, if you and I talk ill about Turkey,
Yes. You're in trouble.
we won't even.
You'll be lynched.
You can't even go to sleep. You'll be lynched because of the unprecedented move by one
Yes.
Erdogan.
Erdogan, yes.
A godsend,
Yes,
I would say,
yes,
in Somalia.
Yes, 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 yes.
But these two countries,
yes.
uh,
Clearly
God
wants to
forbid.
protest. Yes.
God forbid,
Yes.
they have messed up Yemen,
Yes.
killed innocent Muslims,
Messed up Syria,
Syria,
Libya,
yes.
yeah,
I hope they don't come to Somalia.
Lebanon.
The earlier,
No, they've already messed up in Somalia.
They-
because
they-
people
yes.
say that all this Al-Shabaab were creation of them. Finally, what is the way forward, in your opinion, for us in Kenya? Amidst all these things, BBI, referendum, talk of referendum, change the government system, economy is on a free fall. You didn't talk about the economy. Are you aware of that? How is the economy doing now, if I may ask you?
I'm not an economist, but I think we're not doing so fine.
We're not doing that well.
Yes.
The economy is on a free fall. Our borders are all one way or the other. We have issues. Ethiopia is another side. At the very least, Abiy has taken power, he's consolidating power, but still the issues in the Amara region and the Tigray region, and even the Oromo region because of certain minor incidents that happened there. So what do you think is the best way forward for Kenya today? What would be the advice you would give to your head of state, policy makers, the decision makers in this country, and tell them, look, when all this has been put together, I think this is the right thing to do. What would you say?
In this region, when Kenya coughs,
Yes.
the others
Catch a
catch
cold.
a cold.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. Economically, we are very strong, better than most of this in the region. We are the best in the region.
We have a semblance of democracy that nobody else has.
We have, I think, good democracy, I will say sometimes. Debatable, though,
With a lot of rigging, yes. I know.
sometimes, I think.
I wouldn't be interviewing you today if it's not for rigging. I'd be talking somewhere else, but go on.
Yeah, and then,
No, let me
have
correct
the
that. I'll
most-
still be interviewing you.
Yes.
But I would have had another title too. Go
yeah,
ahead.
okay, thank you. We have one of the most educated
Yes,
class
yes,
in the region.
yes,
In Somalia, where I used to work in 2015, 2016,
yes.
people in Mogadishu are, get proud when they say a Somali Kenyan or a Kenyan,
Yes, yes,
Kenyans,
yes.
because of the human resource,
Yes,
the knowledge.
yes, yes.
We have one of the best constitutions in this world.
Yes.
I would urge the president, by the way, to respect the constitution. I don't have anything to prove that he's doing otherwise. Moi left. is alive. Kibaki left, alive.
Still alive.
You see, I would love to see 3 Kenyan presidents retired at home because of the beauty of our 2010 constitution. The
What about
rumor
if the constitution is changed?
for the benefit of who? Why change the constitution?
Change the constitution, they say inclusivity, you say a lot of things, because we attack all before which we had given us a lot of problems. The presidency was a do or die. That's why we have a conflict every time we have a presidential elections. So maybe we will demystify that office and not have a president anymore. We'll have a prime minister, and the prime minister only goes to look for a constituency seat. And the party with the maximum number of members of parliament forms the government. And you can get rid of the prime minister 6 months after he's sworn in, depending on what kind of a majority he has in parliament. So in a sense, you have a prime minister who is accountable to the people on the floor of the house. The one we have right now is an imperial president. Not only is he or she accountable to the people, but you can also get rid of him easily. This one you have to wait for 5 years. So why would you have a problem if that is the feelings and the interests of Kenyans to change the constitution nominally on a few issues to allow this? Other people are saying these counties are too many. Devolution is good. We have already experimented with it and we want to retain it. But we have too many counties, collapse them into smaller units so that we can have about 16 or 15. Yeah? So these are the kind of things that people are floating, and democracy is constitutionalism is a living document. Or the constitution is a living document. Living within the constitution is called constitutionalism, and that also has got to be part of the day-to-day lives of the people. And when you, because of innovations, because of challenges in life that emerge on a daily basis, if certain things have got to be changed, so why not? To make life easier. Yeah.
I will start from where this debate begins normally.
Yes.
It's called inclusivity.
Yes.
Inclusivity, we have 45 tribes in this country, or communities. Therefore, if we want to have inclusivity, let's have 45 deputy presidents, or 45 deputy prime ministers.
Yes.
But what is happening today?
Let me correct you, 44, because one of them will have the presidency. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. These 44 others need to be deputy prime ministers and deputy presidents. It is not sustainable. It won't happen. Therefore, the current inclusivity today, inclusivity in quotes, is being propagated by a few elite.
Yes. From big communities.
From big communities.
Who want to monopolize power also.
Yes.
So when you say 4 prime ministers, you say 2 deputy prime ministers and a prime minister and a president and a deputy president.
Yes.
Then the only thing that comes to you is mountain region, Western Kenya, Luo Nyanza, Kalenjin, and Kamba. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. I want to see a country where Andorobo is president.
Yes.
A country where Turkana is president.
Yes.
But collapsing counties.
Yes. Into smaller units.
It is impossible. I don't think
more viable.
I don't know whether that any Kenyan will accept.
Yes.
We have seen the fruits of devolution.
Yes.
With its weaknesses.
Yes.
Yes. But it is. We are still having teething problems in the counties.
You don't want to leave hegemony at the center and then still have hegemony at the county level?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the counties. The only thing Kenyans will listen today is not the creation of a prime minister.
Yes.
The office of the prime minister, or a deputy, too many deputy presidents. They want more resources to go to the counties.
Yes.
Period.
So you increase the allocation?
Yes.
From 15 to say 30% or
35, yes.
Or 45%?
Yes. And that does not need a referendum. Yes. Mashima, you're a lawyer. You know better.
Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't need a referendum.
That doesn't need a referendum, you're right.
Yeah.
Tell me, supposing we have to change the constitution and Uhuru comes back as a president. We remove the term limit. Uganda removed it. Djibouti removed it.
I saw the president on CNN.
Yes. Saying that he will never want to come back.
Denying in front, saying that those are innuendos.
Yes.
I believe he still believes the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have found this a very fascinating interview. There's no doubt about that. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure we will need more time also for you to dwell on other areas of your specialty, particularly peace building.
Yes.
Peace building between the different ethnic communities, the pastoralists, the farmers, within the pastoralist dynamics themselves also. I'm sure we'll have another time, and 1 hour is not enough
Thank you.
for us to exhaust everything. Mr. Abdi.
Thank you, Bana. Speaker. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure to
Thank
have
you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Viewers, we have come to the end of our show, and thank you very much.